All right, let's get this out there. Why on earth would rich folks centuries ago choose to eat meat that was, well, a bit rotten? Doesn't sound posh, does it? But believe it or not, in the grand old days before fridges and freezers, a whiff of funk on your dinner plate was actually a sign of status. Let's dig into why. First off, back in medieval, early modern Europe, keeping food fresh was a real headache. No electricity meant no refrigerators. Meat spoils quickly, especially in the summer, so the lower classes had to eat it fresh, or not at all. But the rich, they had the luxury of letting their food age. And I don't mean dry-aged steak like you'd get in a fancy restaurant today. I mean actual starting to rot meat. Sounds gross, right? But here's the twist. Eating meat that's high, that's the old term for it, was all about showing off. If you were wealthy, letting your meat sit for days, sometimes weeks, proved you could afford to waste food. If it got too bad, you just threw it out and got another joint from your well-stocked larder. For the poor, that was unthinkable. They had to eat what they had quickly, before it turned. And oddly enough, some people actually believed that high meat tasted better. It was softer, stronger in flavor, and easier to chew, especially for people with bad teeth. Plus, the taste for strong flavors was in vogue. That's why medieval recipes are stuffed with spices. Spices were expensive, another sign of wealth, and they masked the flavor of, let's be honest, less than fresh food. But didn't they get sick? Well, sometimes, yeah. Food poisoning wasn't exactly rare. But with all that wine, and ale sloshing around, and the sheer quantity of spices, they believed they were protected. Of course, that's not how bacteria works, but hey, science wasn't really their strong suit. Another thing, serving gamey meat, like venison, left to hang until it got that wild flavor, was a mark of fine dining. The more pungent, the more prestigious. Eating fresh meat was for peasants. If you wanted to impress at a royal banquet, you brought out the high meat, poured on the spice, and maybe even bragged about just how ripe it was. So next time you're at a barbecue and someone complains about the steak being overcooked, just remember, it could be worse. You could be eating what the kings and queens once called a delicacy, meat that's, let's say, well-aged. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more odd tales from the past.